Now, after having expelled all this inimical tendency in them, he has got purified. Dhyayan tanmayatam yato. Are you hearing what I say? Not only he has got purged, purified, tanmayatam yataha, tanmayatam yataha. He has attained a full identity with the Lord. Identity with the Lord. A likeness, the sameness with the Lord. Bhavo hi bhavakaranam. Why? What is the reason? The intensity of his attitude brought whatever he wanted to have. I think when we start loving God, the love is not a very powerful emotion. It may be powerful, but it is still a kind of a meek emotion. Compared to hatred, anger, etc., it is not so powerful. So, intensity of attitude is very important. In hatred, anger, competition, jealousy, intolerance, etc., the intensity can be much more than in the other gentle emotions. In the case of Shishupala, he had a confrontational attitude. So his contemplation also was confrontational contemplation. But it remains ceaseless, unbroken in him. Who was the object for it? Krishna, very readily available. If Krishna was not there, perhaps Shishupala's emotion would not have been so strong, and he could not have expressed it also towards an invisible God. I think he was at an advantage. In the case of Gopikas of the Vraja settlement, their contemplation of Krishna was completely underscored by a kind of a passion. It was a passionate fondness that they had. But Shishupala, he did the same approach, but his approach was governed by intolerance, jealousy, etc. It is the attitude that always determines one's becoming what he wants. Ya matihi sa gatir bhaved. As you think, so you become. This is a very, very famous proverb, and it is applicable to the field of devotion also. Generally, we consume food. It undergoes a number of changes, gets transformed, and it becomes part of our body. In the same manner, the thoughts and feelings and emotions that we express or pursue, they also become part of our inner mind, inner personality. And finally, we become what we are thinking. Any attitude stimulates corresponding thoughts and emotions. These emotions are spoken of as bhava and bhavana. Bhavo hi bhavakaranam. The bhava alone is responsible for making you what you want to become. See, in the case of the Avadhuta Gita, the conversation between Yadu Chakravarti and Avadhuta, he also mentions about the power of the mind in shaping one's destiny. Yatra yatra mano dehi dharayet sagalam dhiya snehad dveshad bhayadvapi yadi tatat sarupatam. My dear viewers, you have to listen to this, as I always say, with borrowed ears. It's a very great pronouncement. Yatra yatra mano dehi dharayet sakalam dhiya. Wherever the dehi, the embodied soul, dharayet sakalam dhiya, when it applies its mind in full measure, in a full-fold manner, in that application, the guiding or motivating or instigating emotion may be anything. Snehad, it may be love. Dveshad, it may be hatred. Bhayad, it may be fear. Snehad, dveshad, bhayadvapi, yadi tatat sarupatam. The Gopikas became Krishna through passionate fondness. Shishupala became Krishna through absolutely stark hatred. This is the way it grows. Snehad, dveshad, bhayadvapi, yadi tatat sarupatam, kidaf peshaskritam dhyayan, kudyam tena pravesidaha, yadi tat samyatam rajan, purvarupam asantyajan. This is generally the illustration of a kind of a bee, large bee, and the wasp. Whether it is true or not, to some extent it is debatable. The attitude can be anything is what I want you to understand. See, devotion is very, very general. In devotion, you should be always logged in God. Whatever may be the process of doing it. Yena kena prakarena matihi krishne niyojaye. Your mati, your mind, intelligence should be yena kena prakarena. Whatever is the methodology, process, emotion, affinity or otherwise. Matihi krishne niyojaye. Your mind should be engrossed in Krishna. That is what is important. While Shishupala and the others had hatred to govern their emotional affinity to Krishna, what about Narada and lofty sages? They are the people who have moving, sweeping and enlightened devotion. Moving, sweeping and enlightened devotion. You may sometimes wonder as to why a kind of a fight becomes necessary for a devotee to have the merger. Because they wanted fight. Hiranyakashipu wanted an open, strong encounter. He reinforced himself for that purpose by doing very severe austerity on Brahma, and Brahma granted him a number of boons. Having got all of them, should he not get an opportunity to express himself? So the Lord appeared as a Narahari. Hiranyakashipu had all the weapons at his command. Narahari had only nails and teeth, that's all. Can you imagine? The whole confrontation was between unequal, so to say. One was a full, gigantic person, a tyrant. Another is only half animal and half man, with nails and teeth alone available for the purpose. And he gave him all the joy of fight. Every opportunity was given for Hiranyakashipu to express himself and display his excellence. So they want fight, so the fight is given. Gopikas never wanted to fight, but Gopikas wanted something. What is it that they wanted? They wanted to speak to him, vilifyingly, etc. So there is a Bhramara Gita where the Gopikas are criticizing and ridiculing, using satire for the purpose. They wanted that, and that opportunity was given. This is a shloka that beautifully explains Yatha vairanu baddhena martyat tanmayatam yad na tatha bhakti yogena iti me nishchitamadihi. When Yudhishthira questions Narada, how Shishupala could have had such an open merger, then Narada Maharshi says, Maharaja, listen to, this is the truth. Yatha, in which manner, vairanubadhena, coupled and associated with hatred, anger, martyaha, the human being, tanmayatam iyad, attains identity with God as an object. Natatha bhakti yogena, in the same manner, the bhakti yoga will not be effective. Iti me nishchita madihi. This is my considered opinion. A number of emotions were expressed, and here is again another statement of Srimad Bhagavata. Gopyah kamad bhayat kamsaha dveshat chaidyadayo nripaha sambandhat vishnaya snehat yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. A variety of emotions directed towards the same object, God, brings about the same result for the respective people. Gopyah kamad, the Vraja women, for them, kamad, that passionate fondness was the means. Bhayat kamsaha, for Kamsa, it is stark fear. Kamsa was seeing Krishna everywhere, in the bathroom, in the toilet, in the playground, in his sword, in his crown, in his own feet, in the bed where he was sleeping, in the simhasana he was sitting on. Everywhere he found Krishna, only because of his fear. Gopyah kamad bhayat kamsaha dveshad chaidyadayo nripaha. A number of kings like Shishupala, for them it was dvesha, hatred. Oh, he stands in my way. He robs whatever I want. Rukmini was supposed to be given to me. All people decided. And this fellow came and took her away. No, that hatred was always in him. Dveshat chaidyadayo nripaha sambandhad vrishnayaha. The entire Vishnukula in which Krishna was born, all of them had only sambandha, blood relationship towards him. They were all relatives. Snehad yuyam. Are you hearing? Snehad yuyam. Yudhishthira, for you, you have a natural love and fondness for Krishna. You behave with him like a close and intimate friend. He is just like your own counterpart. That kind of a feeling you have. Bhaktya vayam vibho. So far as we are concerned, we have the great and the wholesome, unassailable, unshakable, unflinching devotion to the Lord. Gopya kamad bhayat kamsaha dveshat chaidyadayo nripaha sambandhat vrishnaya snehat yuyam bhaktya vayam vibho. This is how the analysis goes. See how Srimad Bhagavatam explains devotion. Devotion is a wholesome affair. It is a large canopy. Under that, so many people can really take shelter. There is no restriction that you should have this specific attitude alone. If you have ordinary and simple devotion, it will be very harmless, very innocent, very pious, and you will always be either in tears or you will close your eyes and you will remain very ecstatic with horripilation and whatnot. It has no interaction at all with anybody. But these emotions are not so. Evam rukshaistu danvakyaihi krishnam trotrairivadvipam gadaya tadayan murdhni simhavad vyanadachasaha. Now, I wanted to tell you, as part of the whole process, the encounter with Dandavaktra also, but in a very short, brief manner. Dandavaktra came with a club and challenged Krishna. And he started abusing him. You rascal, where from do you come? I was waiting for you. If you are courageous and brave, have your encounter with me. I am ready. Come. Why are you shy, etc.? He started speaking. Scolding in this manner. Evam rukshaihi tudanvakyaihi. With piercing and hurting words. Krishnam trotrairivadvipam. A huge elephant. Imagine a very huge elephant, tusker. What is its height? What is its weight? And how big it is, voluminous it is. And over that, the mahout, he gets upon it. What is the size of a mahout, a human? And what is the size of the elephant? There is no comparison. Nevertheless, getting upon it, he has a hook, a goad with him. He applies it to the ears and other important points and he starts pulling, making the elephant wriggle. This is what is happening. So, just like these words were uttered, our Bhagavata author says, it is just like a mahout dealing with an elephant. Krishnam trotrairivadvipam gadaya atadayad murdhini. When I was reading it, Krishna encountering Dandavaktra, and Dandavaktra administering the first blow right on Krishna's head, I also felt the impact when I read it. Gadaya tadayan murdhni simhavat vyanadachasaha. He also roared like a lion. So Krishna gave him an opportunity to hit him. And he took the hit. Where did he hit? On the head. You know, our skull is very strong. It's not as easy as you think to break. It is very strong, very strong. I don't think any other part in our body is so strong. So nothing happened. Krishna simply took it smilingly. And then what did he do? Oh, you are capable of, you challenge me and you are capable of hitting me. Have the joy of administering a blow. Then Krishna proceeded. Gadaya abhihatopyajahu nachachala yadudvaha Krishnobi tamahan gurvya kaumodakya stanandare Gadaya abhihatopyajahu. In the direct personal duel, though he hit hard by the gada, by the club. Na chachala yadudvaha. Nothing happened to Krishna. He did not get shaken at all. He did not swing or swerve. On the other hand, he took his own club. What is the name of the club? Krishna's club? Kaumodagi. Kaumodagi. Gurvya Kaumodakya. The very heavy club called Kaumodagi he took. Krishnobi tam ahan sthanantare. When Dandavaktana gave him a blow, a hit right on the head, Krishna hit him in between the breast, that is in the chest, directly in the central portion here. And one blow, that Dandavaktana suddenly fell instantly. He started bleeding through the mouth and the nose. And when he fell, the legs and the hands were outstretched. Ho gaya. Nothing more. Finished. Very simple encounter. Very serious, of course. Tadaha sukshmadaram jyodihi krishnam avishat adbhudam. Tadaha. Up to then, hatred was there in the mind of that man. When somebody falls, somebody dies, everything goes away. Enmity is only till the last breath. When the last breath is also gone, there is no enmity at all. So Dandavaktara's enmity has already gone when he fell, bleeding through the nose and the mouth, and with outstretched hands and legs. Suddenly, Jyotihi Sukshmataram Tataha. As it happened in the case of Shishupala, a brilliance arose from Dandavaktara. Krishnam avishad adbhudam. It entered into Krishna. By this, what do you understand? Here is a clear demonstration that God is equal and graceful towards all. No matter what people are, you may hate God, but no, God never hates you. I want to assure my viewers, never doubt God. And never come up with a proposition saying that God is cruel and He will curse me. There are so many things in this world to curse you. Don't add God also to the list. He will not, He will not, He will not. He does not, He does not. He has not cursed anybody. Now here is a clear demonstration. Tadas sukshmadaram jyodihi krishnam avishad adbhudam. It was not that many people were there. Some people must have been there. So a brilliance arose, as in the case of Shishupala, as I said, and it also entered Krishna. Pashyadam sarvabhutanam yatha chaidyavadhe nripa. Whichever people, whoever were present there, in the presence of all of them witnessed the whole travel and merger of the brilliance from Dandavaktara. Yatha chaidyavadhe nripa. My dear Raja, this is what happened. Contrasted with these instances, what is the place of you, the parents of Krishna? This is what the narrator asks. See, I narrated all these instances, all these things compared and contrasted. What is your position? These were enemies, breeding hatred. And for them, this has happened, merger with Krishna. In your case, ma apatya buddhim akritaha Krishne sarvatmanishware. My purpose of narrating this episode to you, Vasudeva, is to tell you how your son is a sarvatma. Though he is encased in a body seemingly before our eyes, whatever is inside him, as his essence, as his being, as his understanding, as his mind, as his attitude, he is a universal presence. Universal presence. No doubt about it. Sarvatmanishware. So don't foster any kind of a putra feeling about him. Ma apatya buddhim agrataha. Apatya buddhi. Apatya means your child, your son. That kind of a feeling don't foster at all. Agrataha. Krishna sarvatmanishware. Your Krishna is actually a sarvatma. Maya manushya bhavena gudhaishwarye pare avyaye. Maya manushya bhavena gudhaishwarye pare avyaye. See, Srimad Bhagavata whenever it narrates an episode where Krishna is involved, always you will find this Krishna is described in very, very impersonal and universal terms, so that you understand that it is not a human that we are discussing. Maya manushya bhavena gudhaishwarye pare avyaye. This Krishna is actually para, the absolute reality. Avyaya, inexhaustible, interminable is his personality and essence. Gudhaishwarye, all the splendor and aishwarya he has is hidden, concealed. Maya manushya bhavena. It's only that he is moving like a human being so that you can have a touch and impact from him. Unless this visible human form is there, you will never be able to transact or interact with God at all. He will be like the sky, like the space. Can you interact with space? It doesn't have any color. It doesn't have any kind of a sensation to produce. You are surrounded by it. You are penetrated by it. But you never feel the impact of an embrace. Whereas Krishna you can embrace and you can feel the exhilaration of it. Maya manushya bhavena. By the inscrutable power called Maya, he has assumed a human form. All this is true, and that human form sprang from you. You were the progenitors. But don't think that he is your son and foster a feeling of parentage about you and filiality about him. Ma apatya buddhim agrathaha Krishne sarvatmanishware maya manushya bhavena gudhaishwarye pare avyaye. Bhubhara surarajanya hantave guptaye satam avatirnasya nirvrityai yasho loke vidanyate. What is your son doing? Why has he been born? Bhubhara surarajanya hantave guptaye satam. The purpose of Krishna's embodiment or Krishna's descent is twofold. Bhubhara asurarajanya hantave. A number of wicked people, including rajas, wicked kings. Kamsa was one such. They were actually proving to be an irksome, a load to the earth. First of all, that load has to be removed, dispensed with. Guptaye sadam. Equally so, a number of noble and well-meaning people are there. They should be protected. They should be assured. They should be allowed to live trouble-freely with their wisdom, with their choice, with their goodness. As long as these wicked people are there, good people will not be able to function. They live even peacefully. So he had to eliminate the wicked and also bring about suraksha, safety for the wise people. As Bhagavad Gita says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijamyaham. See, world will not remain the same uniformly for a long time. There will be ups and downs, ebb and tide. So far as the cultural and the ethical elements are concerned, there will be periods when there is a lot of ethics and abundance of it. Equally so, there will be a decline, an abysmal fall also there. So what generally will happen is, yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati. Whenever there is glani, decline, degeneration in the level of dharma, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya. In the same manner, adharma raises its head, it rises. Then tada atmanam srijamyaham. That is the time when the supreme reality gets born in a very, very special, exceptional manner. Now Krishna's birth is something like that. Bhubhara asura rajanya hantave, to kill all these people. Guptaye sadam, to protect the noble people. Avatirnasya, Krishna, who has taken his birth in this manner, nirvrityai yasho loke vidanyade. He is spreading his fame throughout the world in order to bring about the joy of redemption in the minds of the people. See, the more and more you think about Krishna, your trishna, your greed and desire will fall. You will not become a bhogi, an enjoyer of the earthly bounties. You will become a yogi, an enjoyer of the inner bliss. Think more and more about Krishna. Krishna's actions, Krishna's birth, Krishna's words, Krishna's thoughts. Go on getting more and more addicted to Krishna. You will find the Trishna will completely disappear. So the very purpose of Krishna's embodiment is to promote, perpetuate and reinforce that sense of redemption, the yearning for redemption. Bhubhara surarajanya hantave guptaye sadam avadirnasya nirvrityai yasho loke vidanyate. Sri Shuka uvacha etat shrutva mahabhago vasudevo adivismidaha devaki cha mahabhaga jagaduhu moham atmanaha. What has happened now? Narada was explaining to him an episode that took place in the ancient past. A conversation between King Nimi and the Navayogis. The occasion was the performance of a yaga. Narada narrated all this and also finally made a statement. Your attitude towards Krishna should be not that of parents and son. You should see him as the universal, ever-brilliant, immortal self. Etat shrutva, after listening to this, Mahabhago Vasudevaha Adivismidaha, the great holy person, the great person Vasudeva, he became stunned. He was overtaken by wonder. Adivismidaha. Devaki ja, similarly Devaki also. Cha Mahabhaga. Devaki was the most fortunate person. You know, it was Devaki who bore altogether 8 pregnancies.